Hi guys, Fog of Gaming here and welcome to PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Have you ever wondered what it takes to destroy a vehicle? Well, today you're going to find out. I will show you the damage model of all the vehicles in Battlegrounds. I will bust some myths and I will give you a detailed explanation on how to lead a vehicle so that you can kill the driver with only 2 headshots. Imagine that you're running around in a forest in Battlegrounds. You gathered some nice weapons, a lot of medpacks and a bunch of other stuff that you probably don't need, but you're confident that you're on your way to your next victory. Suddenly, a guy shows up in a shiny new vehicle, ready to take away your chance of that chicken dinner. What would you do? Would you shoot the car or would you shoot the driver? That's the question that I will try to answer for you today. Shooting the car would be the easy option. It's a big target and it's a whole lot easier than to hit that tiny guy behind the steering wheel. But does it make sense to do that, or are you just wasting your time? Let's start with the basics and let's find out how many bullets it takes to destroy a vehicle. I'm sure that you saw one of the weapon comparison videos, so you know that the M416, the M16A4 and the SCAR-L all have the same power rating. They all use the same 5.56mm cartridge, so we will use these weapons to find out how many bullets it takes to destroy a UAZ, a Dacia, a buggy and a bike. Let's start with the bike. It's probably wiser to shoot the guy who is driving it, because the bike doesn't give you any protection, but we have to start somewhere. If you use a SCAR-L to destroy a bike, then you will need exactly 30 bullets. That is actually more than what I expected. I thought that it was going to be easier, because it's just a bike. If you're playing solo, then I would recommend you to shoot the guy who is riding the bike. But in squads with a few guys on that bike, it's probably better to aim for the bike itself and to go for that double or triple kill. What about the buggy? This vehicle will give you a lot more protection, especially from the rear. It's also a lot more difficult to kill the driver. I will use an M416 and as you can see, it will take a lot more than 1 magazine. I will get back into the vehicle. Look at the bottom left. The vehicle's health indicator shows us that it still has 20% of health left. You can use the fuel gauge to accurately see the health. The big markings are 25% and the smaller ones are 5%. So, we will need to fire some more bullets. In total, you will need exactly 38 bullets to destroy a buggy. Do you think that the Dacia will do better in our test? This vehicle will give you even more protection than the buggy and as you would have guessed, 1 magazine isn't going to cut it. We still have about 27% of health left, so you will need another 13 bullets to finish the job. So in total, you will need 43 bullets to destroy a Dacia. I'm sure that some of you think that the M416 will need more or less bullets than the M16A4 or the SCAR-L. Well, that's not true, and I will prove it to you. I did the same test with the M416. I even shot at a different part of the car, but I still needed 43 bullets to destroy this Dacia. In other words, if the weapon is using a 5.56mm cartridge, then the damage is the same. These guns are the M416, the M16A4 and the SCAR-L. The developers claim that the UAZ is the most powerful vehicle in the game. It will give you better protection than any of the other vehicles, so it would be the most difficult vehicle to destroy. I will use an M416 and as you could have guessed, it will take a lot more than 1 magazine. The UAZ still has about 30% of health left. In total, you will need 47 bullets to destroy the UAZ. In some games, you can destroy a vehicle faster if you aim at certain parts, like the engine or the gas tank for example, because it would make sense that a vehicle is more vulnerable in those areas. Do you think that this myth is valid in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds? In other words, does it make sense to shoot at a certain part of the vehicle? Let's find out. I will use the M16A4 this time and I will shoot at the engine. It took me exactly 48 bullets to destroy the UAZ, so this myth is busted. In fact, it took exactly 1 bullet more than when I was shooting at the door, but that is within the margin of error. So the vehicles don't have a weak spot, except for the tires, so let's find out if that is useful for us. You won't be able to destroy a vehicle faster by shooting at the tires, but you can slow it down dramatically and you can even bring it to a grinding halt. Well, sort of. It takes exactly 3 bullets to destroy 1 tire. It doesn't matter which vehicle you're shooting at. But there is a catch. If you shoot a vehicle sideways, then not every bullet will hit that tire. Right now the hitboxes of the rims are way too big. You might think that you're shooting the tire, but most of the time you're hitting the rim, and you won't be able to destroy the tire very easily. But you will still cause damage to the vehicle. Destroy 1 tire and the vehicle is still controllable. The driver will still be able to accelerate. Destroy 2 tires in the front and the driver will still be able to accelerate, but he will have a hard time controlling the vehicle. Destroy another tire and he probably won't be able to get away from you anymore. You can run faster than this. Destroy tire number 4 and he won't be able to do anything anymore. The buggy only started moving because it was on a down slope. Let's bust some more myths so that you don't waste your time on this. You might think that a grenade can instantly kill a vehicle, but that is very far from the truth. If your grenade lands right next to the vehicle, it will cause approximately 12% of damage, so consider this myth busted. You would think that the range has an effect on the damage a car can take, but it doesn't. It took 38 bullets to destroy a vehicle from up close. It took 37 bullets to kill it from a medium range, and it took exactly 38 bullets to destroy the same vehicle from as far as I could without missing my shots with the holographic sight. The 37 bullets is within the margin of error, so range doesn't seem to have an effect on the damage models of the vehicles. Another myth busted. Okay. You know everything there is to know about the vehicles. Now, what about killing the driver instead of the car? This is slightly more difficult than just shooting at the vehicle. You will have to be very precise and you will have to be able to lead your target. This seems difficult, but it isn't. All you need is a little bit of practice. If you have seen the weapon comparison videos, then you know what it takes to kill a guy with a certain gun. Those videos also take into account the armor that this guy is possibly wearing. The same rules apply when you want to kill the driver. You will need the same amount of body shots or headshots. The problem is that you're dealing with a fast moving vehicle and they all have different maximum speeds. So if you're shooting at the drivers of different vehicles that are driving past, then you will need to lead your target more or less, depending on his speed. On top of that, you can only see a relatively small part of his body, usually his upper chest and his head. This is good, but it's also bad at the same time. The bad thing is that you don't have much room for error and the hitbox is a lot smaller when your enemy is driving. The good thing is that you automatically become more precise. Usually a shot in the stomach is good enough, so you settle with that when he's running around. But since you can't see his stomach, you unknowingly force yourself to be more precise and your aim will become better naturally. So the only thing you should really worry about is by how much you should lead your target. There is no written rule that I can give you, and in the beginning you probably won't be able to do that. So I don't expect you to be able to hit the driver with your very first shot. That is why I recommend you to use a practice shot, so that you can get an idea of where your bullet is going to hit the vehicle or the surrounding area, in case you missed him. I will analyze one kill, where I use the practice shot method. I will first play it in real time, so that you can see what to expect. So I saw a Dacia driving over the bridge. I take one practice shot, which I miss, I then correct for the angle and the speed of the vehicle, and then I hit the two next shots and I kill the driver. I will replay the kill in slow motion, so that you can clearly see what happened. So, this is the exact moment when I pressed my mouse button. As you can see, I tried to lead the car a little bit by aiming slightly to the right, and I lead his head a little bit by aiming below his head, because he's not driving straight towards me. He's driving at an angle, so he will move towards me and to my right. The bullet needs some time to travel, until it reaches a car. And in the meantime the car will also travel towards me and to the right. So I am hoping to connect my bullet with his head. At this moment I'm guessing. I have no clue if that is going to work or not, but that is not the point. What I'm trying to learn from this shot is a correction that I have to make. In other words, I want to see where my bullet ends up compared to the movement of the car. And then we end up with this frame. Look here. This is where my bullet hit the street. So as you can see, I didn't even come close, but I know now what I have to do. What I just saw was the correction that I now need to apply. In the first shot, I placed my crosshairs inside the vehicle. I was sort of aiming at the side window. But this time I will aim outside of the vehicle and even lower than where I was aiming before. I am even aiming to the right of his side view mirror. Then I take the shot and I hit the very top of his head. In other words, my sideways correction was good. I don't have to change that. But I want to make sure that I hit his head again, because I almost overshot my target and the vehicle is now even closer to me. So for the last shot I will keep the sideways correction, but I will aim much lower than before. I will aim to the right of his front bumper, underneath the headlight, and the bullet ends up hitting the guy right underneath his eyes. All you had to do is to make a practice shot and to apply the correction. That is how easy it is. You might think that this is difficult, but it really isn't. Just be aware of the fact that there is a learning curve, and I would recommend you to start practicing as soon as possible. The best thing to do is to shoot at almost every car that drives past, and try to figure out for yourself how much you have to lead the car, so that you can hit the guy who is driving it. Don't worry about exposing yourself and possibly losing your chance of that chicken dinner. You're learning and you're improving your skills for later. 9 times out of 10 you will get away with it anyway. You want to develop these skills so that you know what to do in the later stages of the game when you're facing a guy who is still using his vehicle. You might be thinking that it's very stupid to still use a car at this point, and you're probably right. Nevertheless, I managed to get a few victories by using my car. It provided me with the cover that I needed and it got me that chicken dinner. Just make sure that the next time you're facing me or anyone else who is using his vehicle, that you can take him out easily. You have the knowledge, all you have to do now is practice. You now have all the information that you need to kill the driver or to destroy the vehicle. The choice is yours. Just remember to choose for that chicken dinner at the very end of the game. While you're here, why not check out one of these videos? And by the way guys, the YouTube likes and shares are very helpful to me. If you think that this video is worthy, would you mind taking a moment to like this video and to share it with all your buddies? This was Fog of Gaming, thanks for watching, and I will see you in Battlegrounds.